Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. Once again, another waste of time, another waste of energy, another total waste of a show. Eh, I watched this show and I'm like, what is the point? And the main event shows that, in the end, they're just going to listen to the house. They're going to listen to the audience. They're going to listen to the fucking fans that think they know everything. As we crowned a new champion, they wanted to do an experiment. They wanted to take a guy that showed a lot of promise in Jinder Mahal, a guy that completely overhauled his body. He really stepped up as champion. He looked the part. I put the guy over time and time again in my videos. But his championship reign was, flawed to say the least. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Shane McMahon comes out. He's introducing the New Day. He's proud of what the New Day has done. And, New Day is supposed to be faces here, but like they look like heels. They attacked. They were there to take Raw under siege. Like unprovoked. So I'm not really getting this. Like, what are we exactly celebrating? We stood in the crowd. Like what was really accomplished here? Why are we celebrating this? What is Shane McMahon exactly proud of? These guys are just standing in the fucking crowd doing fucking nothing. They distracted the wrestlers during their match on Raw. That's about it. And then they ran away like a bunch of fucking cowards. So what are we exactly celebrating here? And Shane McMahon is dancing cringe-worthy shit here. And then to make it even more cringy, you've got the taxi cab driver motherfucker Sami Zayn and fat boy Kevin Owens coming out. They're like, oh, we could have, beat up the whole Raw roster if we wanted to. We get a match. Kofi goes over Sami Zayn. So a tag team wrestler, who really hasn't done much in singles competition in the past 4 or 5 years, went over Sami Zayn. We all thought Sami Zayn was going to get some big push, right? Some big push because he pulled Kevin Owens out of the way at Hell in the Cell. No such thing happened. The guy is still losing like a jobber, And rightfully so. Rightfully so. I mean, like I said, once again, I don't know. Sami Zayn cut that one good promo on SmackDown a few weeks back. I gave him credit for that. But now he's gone back to the same, just very generic, just kind of like really just over enunciating his words and just, not being a good heel, not being a good character, and putting him with Kevin Owens really is not really doing much for him. They're not really making strides to really make this a team that you should really care about. They're not really accomplishing anything together. They're not really doing anything. They just talk about how great they are together. But as you see, they just lose matches, basically. The past couple of weeks, this was supposed to be a new team. And they're already losing. They lost to Nakamura, losing to Orton. See, this is why I said, a couple of weeks ago, I said they should have not had Sammy beat Orton with the Haluva kick a few weeks ago in that tag match. Because now they look even more retarded, and that makes Orton look bad. What a fucking mess the fucking booking is. Let's just fucking cut out all the shit already and just fucking say it. This fucking product is garbage! It sucks. I mean, my God, every single fucking show they do something, that just is like, I'm like completely bewildered by just how much more suckage the show can fucking produce. We had a little vignette of the Bludgeon Brothers. we had a little segment with Jinder Mahal backstage, and we went to the Bludgeon Brothers, and the same exact thing. They slammed their hammers down. Okay, um, Orton defeated Rusev, so now Rusev will not be advancing in the Survivor Series, and it was the same finish to the past 10 matches they had. RKO out of nowhere, and it wasn't even so much like it was out of nowhere, because Rusev is just like wasting time walking around the ring. Orton jumps up, RKO's him. So now he's not on the team. Why the fuck did they even bother with Rusev? Does anybody even sit back, and I've ranted on this before, but I want to try to really bring it to the forefront right now. Does anybody realize that since 2015, what a fucking joke they made out of Rusev? How the hell did they go from the way they were building him from 2014? Ever since he lost to Cena at Mania, it has been downhill. And I don't want to hear the fucking excuses of, oh, everybody that loses to Cena is, cursed in some way. It's about creative. That guy had the belt for like a fucking year. There is a way that you could handle a wrestler losing a title. There were periods where Stone Cold did not have the WWF Championship. There were periods when The Rock didn't have it. There were big periods when Mick Foley didn't have it. He only really held each title for a couple of days, and his last title was only a single fucking day, even less than a day. And somehow, some way, these wrestlers still manage to remain elevated, still manage to remain somewhere at the top of the card and at the forefront, and didn't seem to lose any momentum. And newer fans today are probably scratching their heads at what I'm saying. How can a wrestler lose a title but not lose any momentum? They just lost the title. They should go back down. And, what's the response now to losing a title? You go to a secondary title. You go to a secondary feud. The wrestler feels very secondary. This has happened to Dolph Ziggler. It's happened to Jack Swagger. It's happened to AJ Styles. It's happened to Seth Rollins. It's happened to Dean Ambrose. Holy fucking shit! They fucked everybody over! Oh my God, does anybody, any of these wrestlers, they've done it to Finn Balor. They've done it to Kevin Owens. They've done it to everybody under the fucking sun. Roman Reigns even. Once again, loses the world title, goes on to the U.S. title. With Rusev, after this guy lost his U.S. title, soon after he found himself in a love square. Now, you had Summer Rae, Lana, and Dolph Ziggler. And then they were trying to force Rusev into a love storyline. Rusev, you take one look at Rusev, and do you see love storyline coming from this guy? Then, they just kept going with it. It fell flat. They abandoned the storyline. Then Rusev was just in obscurity for the longest time. He was injured. Then they teamed him up with Jinder Mahal on Raw. I am not even sure what the fuck they want to do with this guy. Then they started to acknowledge that Rusev wants to get back on track. Then he loses to Orton. He's going to get back on track again. They pair him up with Aiden English, and he loses some more. I mean, the thing is, if you want this guy to reclaim even a shred of his former glory, he has to fucking win a match. And I'm not saying you have to put him over Orton per se, but to have this guy consistently every single week coming out here and looking like a fucking idiot. And no, a win over Big E isn't exactly going to do a whole lot for this guy. So I don't know. They gave him Rusev Day, they gave him Aiden English, and that's about it. They change him up a bit. They're trying to give him a little bit more personality, and it's just not working. Having the guy come out of nowhere, Rusev Day every show is not working. That's not getting the guy over. That's not doing anything for his character. It's just writing something in for the fuck of writing something in. And the guy is, like I said, he's not going anywhere. He's not doing anything significant on the show. And that shows. James Ellsworth and Becky Lynch were arguing backstage. Ellsworth was being a little bit funny here. Like I said, sometimes this guy can be all right. He was saying that tonight we're in Manchester, and he says, that the ring is no place for a woman. For some reason, he's not wearing his dog collar here. He's not dressed up as a dog. I don't get it. Last week, Becky sprays him with water, and he doesn't do anything. And this week, he's going to go in the ring with her. I don't get it. And now he's saying that, he lets Carmella, go in the ring because that's what makes her happy. Well, like a complete reversal of his character. Well, like, it wasn't this guy supposed to be like on a leash? Wasn't like Carmella supposed to be dominating this guy? And now he's just kind of walking around as a free man. They're not even consistent. They want to make the joke, write something into the storylines, and then a few weeks later, it's like nothing happened. So, they go in the ring, and I'm a bit surprised we have not seen a man booked to wrestle a woman in a long time. And so, obviously Ellsworth didn't do a lot. He did shove Becky a couple of times, once onto the canvas, and then again he did it, onto the floor. And he might have did like one other thing, but that was about it. Then Becky put him in the disarmor. He tapped out. Then Carmella came in the ring. She started arguing with Becky, and then she super kicked James and then walked out. I don't know what that's about, but I guess maybe it's over between those two. I'm not really getting it. Maybe they'll explain it next week. Maybe not. Who the fuck knows? The show never makes any sense anyway. Charlotte was backstage with Natalya, and Shane McMahon makes the match for next week. They're going to have Charlotte and Natalya. Natalya gets upset, says how many chances is she going to get. For the love of God, just put the belt on Charlotte already. This girl with the cat ears, I understand she's the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, but there is something about Natalya that is so fucking boring and unappealing. I mean, Natalya, she's attractive and everything, but Charlotte it's got everything that they need to make as the top woman. And if you're going to do a women's champion versus women's champion match, do Bliss versus Charlotte. So that way you've got the best girl on SmackDown against the best girl on Raw. And it would actually be good. Natalya is just like a weird choice to put against Bliss. It's, you're putting somebody with a lot of charisma against somebody with no charisma. So at least you have two charismatic women going at it that also have, really good wrestling skills. So that would be a way better choice. Make it happen. They're not really doing anything, like I'm saying with Naomi, at least you had, the appearance and everything. She looked cool with all the lights and the custom belt. But I'm saying I never understood why they wanted to take the belt off Naomi so they could put it on Natalya of all people. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeated the Usos. What a weird ass match this was. So it was like really short. Chad Gable does a chop block on the outside. Then he goes underneath the ring for some reason. And they get counted out. Well, that fucking sucked. What the fuck was that all about? I didn't even understand that. I'm so sick of this is wrestling. How is it like not making sense? I said it time and time again. It ain't fucking brain surgery. It ain't fucking rocket science. We ain't exactly splitting atoms here. Why the hell am I scratching my head with wrestling matches? This is was a pretty ridiculous finish. And what are we getting out of this? Did you want to protect the Usos here? But how? A fucking chop block? That's that's what gets them counted out, and that's it. Nothing else. The teams just walk away after that. And in the main event, it was AJ Styles defeating Jinder Mahal to take the title. And now everybody's happy because they're all looking forward to AJ and Brock Lesnar. Now, I like AJ Styles. I've said it time and time again. Now, AJ Styles was way better as a heel. That was quite apparent. Because now, including tonight, every single fucking promo this guy does, SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. I'm sorry, that's not a catchy line. That's, not really adding to your character. That's not really, a good catchphrase. But he says it every single fucking time. And, everything is a wrestling promo with him. When at least he was a heel. At least he was cutting some good promos. He was doing some good insults. It actually felt more like an actual person talking. And not like somebody trying to sound like a fucking pro wrestler. So, the UK crowd goes crazy. And let's keep this in mind, guys. All your favorites like Pete Dunne and all these other motherfuckers. Let's remember, we're in the UK where we have some of the fucking worst fans, the most annoying fans. I am sorry, no offense to the UK as a whole, but the UK WWE fans, you're a bunch of fucking annoying fucking morons. You're an annoying bunch of fucking idiots. Every single match you gotta be, countering, and cheering the way WWE doesn't want you to because it's cool. And you are the people responsible for what happened, the major shift with the crowd. Ever since 2013, the night after WrestleMania, you guys tried to take over the audience. Hey, we're such great fans. You are a bunch of fucking idiots, retarded morons. It's the same thing. You this is awesome chants. Your counter chants. I am fucking sick and tired of you motherfuckers ruining every fucking show. They should stop bringing the WWE to the UK because you motherfuckers, you just can't. You can't watch a show and act accordingly. You always have to be annoying fucking pricks every single fucking time. You have to try to hijack shows and shit. So I don't understand why they made this title change on the tape show. Because now, the whole point of putting SmackDown live was also to avoid the spoilers, make it feel fresh, make it something new, put it on the same playing field as Raw. Because some people used to say, Raw, it's unpredictable, anything can happen. When SmackDown is taped, I can just read the spoilers. So to remedy that, they decided, hey, let's make it a live show. So now they decide to put the title change on a tape show. And now everybody knew the result the day before, and everybody posted it on Facebook. So I already knew what the fuck was going to happen. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the spoilers. It doesn't even fucking matter because I don't even fucking care anymore. Whether it was a surprise, it still would have pissed me off. Here's a guy, WWE made the decision. We are going to make Jinder Mahal the champion. The same way they decided to make Jack Swagger the champion, Dean Ambrose the champion, Seth Rollins the champion, Dolph Ziggler the champion. They decide who they're going to put the belt on. The wrestler doesn't get to decide who gets to put the belt on him. So they are responsible from that point on of when the wrestler wins the belt to make that guy look like a champion, to make that guy look like the biggest star on the fucking roster or on, that specific show's roster, since there's a brand split going on right now. But ever since, I don't know what year in particular, 2010, since people have won titles, world titles to be more specific, they have fucked these guys over time and time again and made them into jokes. So Jinder Mahal was in a situation very similar to CM Punk, for example. A guy that obviously had a lot of charisma. A guy that, yeah, I will say with CM Punk, smaller guy, but he looked the part. But they also booked him to look like a chump. They even, had even made John Cena mention it on an episode of Raw back in 2012. The guy was world champion for nearly a year, and he had not even main evented a single fucking show. Couldn't have even main evented the WrestleMania that he was world champion on. That's how sad it was. And that's how it was for Jinder Mahal. Many times, he wouldn't even main event the show. Yeah, for example, what was one pay-per-view in particular? I can't think off the top of my head, but most of them, the one with the Punjabi prison, he main evented that one. And that was about it. Every other pay-per-view, he didn't main event it at all. And they made it feel very secondary. And even when the guy would wrestle or come out on the show, he wouldn't be in the main event. I mean, what is this? Can you imagine if Stone Cold wasn't shown throughout the show? They'd show him once, like in the middle of the show, and that was it. That would be fucking awful. It would be terrible. And nobody would fucking buy Stone Cold as a champion if that's the way how they booked them. But they put Jinder Mahal in one promo in the top of the second hour, and then you don't see the guy anymore. Or like last week, brief appearance during the AJ Singh brother match. And then that's it. You don't even hear from Jinder Mahal for the rest of the show. Also, they paired him up exactly with the Singh brothers. These guys did interfering in the matches. Every single win that the guy got was tainted. Meanwhile, the guy is jacked to fuck, and he's having problems putting away a Naka Murphy of all people. By the way, where was Naka Murphy on this show? Where was he? Where's the big star? Where's the guy at? He's going to be on the Survivor Series team. He was nowhere to be found. No Naka Murphy, no shitcake Naka Murphy. And then, like, mentioning that Punjabi prison match, I will never forget that you've got a guy, Jinder Mahal, who's even more jacked than Orton. He had to have the Singh brothers interfering. Then he had to have fucking Great Khali come out. He had to have the Great Khali come out to actually win the match. It was fucking pathetic. And so, Jinder has his facial expressions down. He has a demeanor. He knows how to cut a promo. So he had all the tools. And you could see it. Even when they were giving him lame-ass shit to do, like making fun of Naka Murphy's picture. This is what they decide to do. They decide to, give him this material. And they're going to work with it. Then the fans chant, you went too far. Then they won't even show the clip on YouTube. The fucking thing about this is, if you notice a trend, every single thing they've done was the booking. None of it was Jinder's fault. Jinder didn't botch a move. Jinder didn't blow a spot. Jinder didn't flub any of his lines. He went out there. He did his job. He did exactly what he was going to do. To make the best of the situation. The guy continued to work hard in the gym. He continued to diet. He continued to look like $1 million. The guy didn't complain. He didn't whine about having the Singh brothers with him, making him look like an incompetent champion. No, it didn't matter. He did what he was told to do. He did his part. They rewarded him as champion, and he made the most of his reward. So to have him come here and just lose to AJ Styles on a fucking taped episode of SmackDown in the fucking UK, not even in the fucking US, the UK shows that they, most of the time they don't even fucking care about because they're taped and they're in the UK. I mean, and the thing is, like I said, these reactions are not really genuine responses that you would get in the US. So it doesn't even fucking make any sense why they do the title change there. And why? Why? Because and so many people were saying, I wish AJ were the champion so we could get AJ and Lesnar. Is that a realistic match? Honestly. I mean, is that really a realistic match in all honesty? Like I said, I want to see that match. I know that I went on record even saying that I was curious to see how Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar would work in the ring together. But in all honesty, if we're talking about making these matches believable, either one of these guys is not good to go against. Yes, okay, Roman Reigns I could see. He's not as, massive. But Brock Lesnar is the fucking beast, right? This guy is huge. He's dominant. So to have him going against AJ Styles and to believe that AJ even has a chance. If you saw, say you didn't know anything about Jinder's record and you saw Jinder for the first time and how he looks. Say that you've never watched any wrestling at all. You look at AJ Styles and then you look at Jinder Mahal. And then you look at Brock Lesnar. And then somebody comes over to you and says, well, who do you think would have the best chance against Brock Lesnar? Jinder or AJ? If you're saying AJ, you're fucking not playing the game right here properly, so I'm not going to even, acknowledge that answer. The thing is that obviously, ding, 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 it's Jinder would be the one, obviously, because he's the one with the better build. He's taller. He's wider. He looks more ferocious. His facial expressions, he's more menacing looking. He looks like he could do more damage. And thus, when you're showing them side by side on the pay-per-view card, it looks like a more legit matchup. But, once again, we have to listen to the fans in the YWC. I want AJ and Brock. Oh, we got to listen to we got to listen to the fans. Like Stephanie said, they want longer, better matches. So we got to give them what they want. Give the fans what they want. Fuck the fans and what they want. Look at this fucking product. Ever since we've been giving you assholes what you want, the product has become a fucking joke. A fucking joke. Is that what you really wanted out of your wrestling? Did you really want to see it like this? Because this is what happens. Now Jinder is, not champion and everything. I guess he's, I don't know. Maybe they'll give him that final spot on the Survivor Series team for SmackDown. I don't know. But, like you said, this was their experiment. And obviously, Jinder did the best in the situation. But really, altogether, this was not a good title reign. It wasn't a good one. Because they made the guy not really look like a credible champion. But he tried hard, and there's that. But you know what I'm saying? What's done is done. What a fucked up show. So many problems. And the end result, just, watching that shit pissed me off. Like I said, I like AJ Styles. I'm a big AJ Styles fan. I think the guy's a great worker. I think he's good, as a heel, cutting promos. I don't like him so much as a baby face because he sounds very generic, but that's the verbiage they're giving him, I guess. He can only do so much with what he's given. But anyway, guys, there's your SmackDown review. This has been your YWC champ, signing out.